So hello guys, welcome to the next session of chemistry class, and today we are going to learn about atoms and molecules. So before, the Indian philosophers, like long before, they said that matter is consists of small particles, and these particles, when you go on dividing further and further and further, you will get a smallest particle which was named as Parmanu, which is now called as atom. Okay, and this atom cannot be divided further according to their philosophy, and it is true, I guess so we will learn some of the chemical reactions and properties of atoms and molecules and compounds, and let's see how can we prepare their molecular formula or chemical formula. Now, to combine two atoms or two molecules or two compounds, there is chemical formulas or the chemical laws. So the first law states that conservation of mass. So according to this law, it states that like the law of energy, like energy can neither be created nor destroyed, right? So in case of conservation of mass can also be neither created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. So this law states that. The second law is that law of constant proportion. So according to this law, this law was composed by Lavoisier and other his fellow mates. So according to this law, it said that when the compound which consists of two or more elements, when you take certain elements, they are in a fixed proportion, and whether the compound came from anywhere. So take the example of water. Now you take this water from any place, it consists of 1 gram of hydrogen and 8 grams of oxygen, and this proportion won't change at all in case of compounds. So this is law of constant proportion. That means take any element from any compound, it has constant proportion. So this law states that. So one of the scientists named Dalton, he gave some postulates based on atom. So according to him, matter is composed of atom, or the smallest particles known as atom, and these atoms are indivisible, and atoms of different compounds are present in the same proportion, and their masses are also same. Okay, so these are some of the postulates of Dalton. Now, what is an atom? So atom is the smallest particle which cannot be further divided, and modern day symbols of atoms are hydrogen, a circle with a dot, and oxygen, just a circle, and sulfur is represented as S with circle, and lead as L with a circle. Some of other symbols are present in the textbook, just go through them. And atom is the smallest particle with the size of 10 raised to minus 9 nanometer, and the size may vary, but they are in the range of nanometer. Okay, so this is the size of atom, that is radius. Okay, compared to radius, 10 raised to minus 9 nanometer is the radius. Okay, some of the symbols how atoms or the molecules are represented or the elements are represented as. So for example, aluminium is represented as Al, carbon is represented as C, oxygen as O, sulfur as S, iron as Fe, and gold as Au, Ag is silver. These are some of the symbols. What is atomic mass? So consider the example of carbon monoxide. So it was observed experimentally that 3 gram of carbon is combined with 4 gram of oxygen in every case. That means carbon is present as 4/3 the mass of oxygen. Whenever the carbon monoxide is formed, the carbon weighs, I don't know, but carbon is present in the proportion of 3 gram compared to the oxygen is 4 gram. So this is atomic mass, and it was known as atomic mass unit in early case. Now it is just known as U. Now what is a molecule? Molecule is nothing but when 2 or more atoms combine together, they form a molecule. For example, when you take O, it is an atom of oxygen. When it is present in two parts, it is diatomic oxygen. And when 3 atoms of oxygen combine, we get ozone. And this is nothing but the ozone layer which is present around the earth. It is formed by 3 atoms of oxygen combined together to form a molecule which is known as ozone. Now the next concept is of ion. Now what is an ion? Ions are nothing but the charged particle present in the compounds or the elements. For example, NaCl is a compound that is known as sodium chloride, and sodium here is plus, that is cation, and Cl minus, which is negatively charged, is known as anion. So the charged particles which are present in a compound are known as ions. Now chemical formula. So there are rules to write a chemical formula. For example, the first rule is the charges on the ions or the valency should be balanced. So the first rule says that the valency should be balanced. When a compound consists of metal and non-metal, so in case of chemical formula, the valence should be balanced. The first rule states that in case of metals and non-metals, so in case of compounds formed with metal and non-metal, we write metal first and non-metal second. For example, CaO, CuO and FeS. So in case of CaO, calcium oxide and copper oxide, and iron sulfide, Ca, copper and iron are metals. Okay, so they are written first, but oxygen and sulfide, they are non-metals, so they are written last or the right side. Third rule states that in case of polyatomic ions, that means the compound forms by polyatomic ions, we use brackets to denote their ionic charge. So we write like this. So these are some of the chemical formula. Remember these rules for chemical formula. Sorry, in case of MgOH2, the 2 should be outside the bracket. Okay, remember this. Now 2 examples are given with the help of chemical formula. For example, HCl, the valence is 1,1. And the chemical formula is HCl. In case of MgCl, the valency of chlorine is 2 plus 2 and Mg is 1, that is minus 1, and the chemical formula is MgCl2. There are some more examples, just go through them. Okay, the next concept is molecular mass. So what is molecular mass? Molecular mass is nothing but the sum of atomic masses of all atoms in a molecule. Okay, so molecular mass states that sum of all the atoms or the masses of sum of all the atoms in a molecule. Now next concept is what is formula unit mass. In case of formula unit mass, sum of atomic mass of all atoms in a formula unit of a compound. Okay, formula unit mass means sum of all the mass of atoms, atomic mass present in a formula unit compound. Then the next concept is mole. So what is a mole? Quantity in number having mass equal to atomic or molecular mass in grams. So 1 mole of anything substance contains 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 number of atoms of that substance. For example, 1 mole of carbon contains 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 carbon atoms. So that is the mole concept. So there are some of the problems in the textbook given based on these concepts. Just go through them, and if you like the video, do like, share and subscribe.